Hey, boo. There's a haunted house story that I'd enjoy telling you. It all started when I met these friends and I started hanging out with them pretty often. Once they jokingly told me, "Oh, we have a haunted room over here." And sometimes we'll have a suggestion to tell our friends to go hang out in the haunted room. The first time I heard about it, it was pretty late at night. I went in there, nothing happened. I was open to the idea. Of it being haunted. Well, after hanging out there a few times, we decided, before I go on, I just want to let you know you are so energetically radiant. You just have a brightness about your aura. So we had a scary movie night. It just so happens that the movie we decided to watch was involving a particular magical book based on ancient Sumerian and ancient Babylonian deities. Certain magical texts of the book were read out loud in the movie. And I didn't really think too much of it. Nothing spooky happened there really during the time we were watching the movie or that night. It's the next day I started noticing something. And I was hanging out actually with a different friend at a different location. My friend had to leave for a few hours and I was resting until my friend came back. All of a sudden, it was the first time I was in sleep paralysis. So I was laying there and my eyes were open, but I couldn't move. I was frozen. My body just felt like I couldn't move, but I was aware of what was going on. The best way I can describe the feeling is if you've ever felt like you didn't know what to do in a situation, like you were scared, and so you just were still. It was like that. And what was weird is, even though I knew I was the only person there, gusts of wind started coming in the room. And I remember a bag moving in the air and paper, and I thought that was really weird. I started having second thoughts to where I thought, oh well, maybe else is in here. It was just really weird. When I finally got out of the sleep paralysis mode, I noticed that no one was there. It was just me. I told my friend about what happened when my friend came back, and my friend didn't have a very good reaction. So then I started noticing this being at my own place, and a similar thing would happen. I would be in a sleep paralysis state, gusts of wind. I remember objects flying, light objects, so I had papers around. And this time I saw the being manifest. It reminded me similar to a Krampus type being. So it was weird because I could physically see the being with my eyes, and I actually felt its claws too. Around this time, I remember getting a text from one of my roommates, meaning the week that all this was going on, because this was going on for a week. And I was told that my door of my bedroom when I wasn't home opened up and then closed on its own. And my roommate at the time went in and saw nothing, saw no one. They were just wondering where, and I had never even told them about anything that had happened, so it was just one of those confirmations that, it wasn't just stuff that I was experiencing, it was what was going on in that room too. So I believe there was a connection from the ancient text being read. Also, obviously the movie, because that's how they were read aloud. The haunted house, that area, and especially that town of that area is known to have a lot of paranormal activity. In that same town, actually, is one of the first times I ever heard beings, demons, laughing in a weird way, spirits up towards the ceiling, and I had just heard of that area being known for paranormal, especially because it had older houses as well, very old houses. So what I ended up doing was, after the the whole incident where my door opened with the roommate, I ended up talking to my roommate about it and one of my other roommates, and the other roommate went in my room and pointed to a dream catcher, and I actually still have this dream catcher. Right before I started recording this video, I thought about showing the dream catcher, but I couldn't find it, so I just thought it wasn't meant to be. And the roommate pointed the dream catcher saying, "That's it, that's the portal that it went through." Which actually I feel as though, you know, there are various portals going on because of the haunted place, the movie even. The first time I really saw the physical paranormal activity was at another friend's house. There were just a lot of gateways and portals going on. And, you know, there were various experiences with an obvious energy and wind energy. I do feel as though the dream catcher, though, was a portal to where it came through physically. And so what me and my roommate did, my roommate told me, this was at the time that I was open to witchcraft in various realms, but I wasn't really too experienced with it. So my roommate had told me that they had been to different dimensions and that they knew how to get this to stop, and that they would just say a prayer and tell it to stop, which is what we did. And we both prayed and by the dream catcher, told it wasn't welcome, and it stopped. If you just tell the spirits to leave you alone, they will. What I have noticed though is they're gonna do what they want. Usually the spirits, if they wanna follow you or watch you. The thing is, when you ask it to leave you alone, they'll be in the shadows more. So they'll be hiding. Similar situations I've had with ghosts. For example, one ghost story that I've already told on this channel. When I told the ghost to leave me alone, then I realized years later it was still around. I just didn't know. Because the ghost just stopped whistling and making it obvious that it was around. So they are respectful for the most part. Every time I've told a spirit with confidence they weren't welcome and left me alone, they stopped bothering me. So I feel as though spirits can haunt a room, a house, an ancient text, even a person following, because if you think about it, there was a haunted house, then there was a spiritual text, and there was a lot of paranormal activity. But the thing connecting everything was me being there. Because this being was following me. I actually saw it twice in my bedroom. It's interesting how the wind was blowing papers up. That is something that I noticed when it did appear, is that gusts of wind would happen. So I saw it physically twice. The first time I saw gusts of wind, I didn't see it. And the more experiences I had with it, the less worried I was. The first time, I don't know what I would have done if I actually saw it. Maybe it was kind of testing it out too, to see how I would react. I know that it takes a lot of energy for them to physically manifest. But obviously it was using a lot of energy if they were literal gusts of wind. And I've actually moved papers with my own mind before with telekinesis. It just takes a lot of concentration and confidence. I haven't done that for a long time because, to be honest, you just have to really want to do it, and I just don't really want to. Maybe one day I'll really be in the mood to do it. Spooky story. It's okay, it's just a spooky story. That is all. There are these cute cups I want to show you. Look how adorable. Does this cup remind you of anybody? Ooh, I love how it has a sunflower too. And there's another cup to the set. They look so happy mischievous. And they each have a raven. Looks like a raven to me, even though they're supposed to be scarecrows, so I'm guessing it's a crow. I like the eye on the crow, it's really big. Ah, he's looking at it. It's also interesting how I was doing some research and a few hours ago, and how there are some beings where a lot of people had similar stories with the sleep paralysis, and it would be there while the person was in that sort of state. It seems as though a lot of beings come around during times when people are sleeping. I think part of that actually has to do with just the state of the mind too. Kind of like when you're meditating and you're in tune with your subconscious. I've also had the shadow man with the hat contact me through sleep paralysis. It's actually rare that I've been through sleep paralysis. I've had the shadow man with the hat tell me that when he put me through sleep paralysis to communicate with me, it was because he felt that that was an easier way to go about it. Because through sleep paralysis, you're there and they have your attention. But I've had many spirits appear to me to where I wasn't in sleep paralysis and communicate with me. That being that I was telling you about with this whole haunted house story, because yeah, all this paranormal activity was centered around me because it was my experience, but it all really, the root of it was the haunted house. That's where it started. That's where the whole paranormal idea started. That's where the energy of the idea of paranormal activity and where my mind started connecting with it. I like how bright my hair is. And finally I grew out a lot of I grew out the hair that I had before that I had dyed black. So that's how it's able to look so bright now. And so now I'm excited and I really like this orange color. I love the orange the best so far out of all the colors that I've tried. It's really early in the morning right now. For me. Later today, I'm planning on going to the cemetery. It doesn't seem like it's raining right now. I can't hear any rain. It was raining yesterday. Not too much though. I'll go to the cemetery, hang out with the fairies, spirits of the graveyard, tree spirits, ooh yes. I especially want to hang out with the tree spirits during the fall time. I've been really wanting to go to the cemetery, especially because of that. I just want to see how pretty it looks this week. I've been thinking about it every day. with that story, thinking about the story that I was telling you earlier, is how they say there are wind spirits or wind demons. Air spirits. I feel as though the spirit world really is connected to the air, just because it's something that's not physical. It's almost an in-between state. It's not, air is not, it's like you can touch it, you can like feel it. It's a mix between something that's somewhat physical and somewhat spiritual. So I feel as though that energy can be really used by spirits, demons. And it's a way they can create a vortex with the air, and why the wind was used. And it can be used to their advantage to move physical objects if they concentrate with it. It's just interesting to think about. I've seen portals that look checkered too, that appeared with a loud noise. So there are many different types. I feel as though wind and air is just one form of an energetic portal that can be used. I have a lot of spooky stories and experiences with spirits, but those are this one and the other 2 ghost stories that I recently told on my YouTube channel. I feel so those are the most profound and cool to talk about, because there was a lot going on in the physical that I could see and hear, and they were longer stories. I feel as though maybe it's because it was years ago when I was really open to spirituality, but not as experienced. I feel as though a lot of the spirits and demons kind of know that, I would say something if someone was, or one of the spirits was trying to follow me for a week. I just feel as though they already know that I already know what to say if I don't want them making noise or following me. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this story as well during spooky season. Like this video, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought about this story, subscribe, check out ways to support me in the description, follow the path to my ASMR playlist, share this video with a friend you think that would be interested. Later, darling. I love you.